Leverage Redemption comes to IMDb TV, and the con is on and more exciting than ever. The team reunites as they take justice into their own hands, not to mention adding a few new exciting recruits. For this crew, the stealing is mutual. There's no shortage of bad guys, and the con game has only gotten more complicated. Don't miss out on the action-packed heist and discover why crime is fun when you're the good guys. Leverage Redemption, now streaming free on IMDb TV. IMDb TV is available on Fire TV, Roku, or anywhere Prime Video is available.
There's more fun than ever as Cedar Point throws its biggest party ever now through August 15th. Witness the park's 150-year history in a spectacular nighttime parade. Enter every day for your chance to win a ticket of a lifetime. Ride on Snake River Expedition and taste your way around the point. Don't miss this once-in-a-lifetime celebration. Get your tickets at cedarpoint.com. No purchase necessary. Open to legal residents of the 50 United States and the District of Columbia who are 13 years of age or older. Void in Florida, New York, and where prohibited. Visit ticketofalifetime.com. Sponsor Millennium Operations, LLC, doing business as Cedar Point.
Absolutely glowing.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes.
So how does it feel?
You know, it feels different.
Does it really?
It does. It does. Like, you know, I mean, we waited 5.5 years to get married. I mean, we've been together for 5.5 years, I guess, you know, and then finally getting married, it does feel different. Like, I mean, maybe we're just still in the glow of it all and stuff, but it feels like, I mean, like we took this step to be like, we took this intentional step to be together. It's like, we're not just checking a box like, oh, okay, we've been together, let's get married, you know, both having been married before and everything. It was just like, you know, like we very intentionally decided to make this legal commitment to each other, and it does feel different to us. So,
well, congratulations.
Thank you. I'm back.
So now it's no more hetero life meet. Now you have to say my husband.
I know.
All the triggered shall not be triggered no more.
I know, right? Right. He's been calling me his ex-fiance. And I know.
Stop it, you guys.
I'm like, oh my God.
Stop it.
Oh, I'm like, well, I guess technically that is true. I am your
technicalities.
So yeah, we're back, and we're back on the air. Sorry, you know, we've been taking a couple weeks.
Someone had to get fucking married.
I know.
And you know.
Yeah. So yeah.
Something all our 90-day fiance people strive to do. So congratulations.
Thank you. And yeah, so we're back on the air. Now, I know we've been going like every other week, and I did read a review this week that said they wish that we would have more episodes. Wow, which is good because you know a lot of our reviews say, you know, they should just go off the air. So, you know, it was nice.
I don't read them. I kind of like say if someone has an opinion, they can put it out in the universe. And I do welcome feedback. I do. Yeah. But I am in a very delicate emotional state right now. So I try not to read things that could possibly make me say, I don't want to do this anymore, because there's just there's so much like piling onto my life. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people, it's like that hashtag, if you know, you know, it's not very pleasant right now. So, you know, it's nice to come here. It's nice to know that today we're not talking about 90 Day Fiance. Though.
Oh God, thank God. So that's part of, I think that, I mean, that's part of why we had dropped to like every other week, was because Happily Ever After is just so boring. It's the same episode week after week. We can't get excited about it. There's nothing to talk about. We can barely squeeze out content, putting out an episode every other week. But that also, you know, drops our, you know, our listenership, right? People want to hear from us apparently. So, and apparently our advertisers do too. But we were blessed with, I don't know what we want to call this, but we are blessed with.
It's a new show.
New couples not trying to fit into this, like, let's make this storyline. We're talking about Love in Paradise, the Caribbean.
So do you remember when, what is it, Casting Becky or something like that, put out that Are
Brenda,
You in Love? Casting Brenda. Sorry, she's blocked me. So
I know, she blocked me too.
I was just like, really? Anyways, I'm just really curious to know why, because
that was after she reached out to me asking if I knew anybody that could fit in any of their shows.
Right. And then you did help. And then you did help her.
Then she blocked me.
And she blocked you.
I was like, okay.
Oh man. But yeah, it was, she had this casting call. It was like, are you in love in the Caribbean? You remember that? And she's like, and planning to go there or whatever.
Right.
And we're all kind of like wondering, like, what the hell are they going to do in the Caribbean? And here we are. We have a show about love in the Caribbean, and it has materialized to a very amazing hot garbage that I was excited to watch.
Yes.
Cast 90 Day aside for the week.
So I came back from the wedding stuff. So I took like the week before the wedding and the week of the wedding off, because the wedding was down in North Carolina. So we had this whole beach week thing going. So I was out of, like, I wasn't watching the shows. In fact, I have several episodes of Love After Lockup to catch up on too, and all kinds of stuff. So when I came back, I was like, okay, let me catch up on 90 Day. So Hannah Khan and I can record. And these episodes are like 2 hours long. And that's the same fight on the RV and the same fight that they've been, Family Libby's been having for, 6 seasons or whatever. And so I'm flipping around on Discovery Plus, because that's where I was watching 90 Day. And I was like, oh, what is this? And I put it on and I was enthralled. I was just like captivated. And I don't know what maybe we need to talk about why why is this show refreshing? And it's going to make you laugh, but you remember Stephanie from this, not this one, but the past 90 Day, before the 90 days. And her Stephanie and her 23-year-old fiance, Ryan, that one?
They took the best parts of that and duplicated it.
Oh my God. Well, and what's great is that, so the story of each of these couples is slightly different. Yes. Like they've all met before. But they're not necessarily seeking a K-1 visa. They're not necessarily like meeting them for the first time. There's slight variance to each of their stories. So they're not forcing them into the 90 Day Fiance storyline. So, and it just does not feel as produced. Now, granted, I've only seen one episode, but it does not feel as produced as 90 Day and all of its associated spin-offs.
Not yet, because as we know, like the shows when they first start out, they bring their own drama. I think that the scripting and the overstretching happens when they start running out of people that are just fun to record.
Right.
So and then that's when we'll start seeing maybe some storyline stretching. But for now, it seems pretty authentic.
Yeah, it's kind of
their own problems.
There's a lot of what, like, the magic that was before the 90 Days, season 1, like the first season of that was magical. This has a lot of that same magic. And I think for the same reason that you're just talking about, right? Like they have their own inherent stuff in their storylines. These people are like, are you kidding me? And because it's on Discovery Plus, we have boobs and butts in the first 10 minutes.
Well, we got to sell it, obviously.
Right. So let's talk about this show. What makes this show great? So since I'm talking about boobs and butts, let's start with that couple. So that's Ariana and
that was the first couple, right?
Yeah. So
the
Ariana
got knocked up when she was out there. Okay.
Yeah. So we have Ariana and Sherlon. Now, Sherlon works at a resort down there in, I forget which island he's on. Jamaica. I'm looking at my notes.
Jamaica, yeah.
So he's in Jamaica. She was down there. She had lost a ton of weight. She and her sister went down to sort of celebrate, have a girls' trip. She sees this hot guy who works at the resort. Story we've heard a million times. Sleeps with him. It's fine. Everything's fine, right? She's just getting a little vacation booty. Can't fault the girl for that. She comes home, finds out she's pregnant. We've heard this storyline before too. Like, girls and boys, when will you learn to use protection when you're sleeping with your vacation booty? You know?
There's just something about the Caribbean, you know?
I guess, yeah. And I mean, she admits, she's like, it was stupid, you know, wasn't thinking, caught up in the moment. I get it. You know, it happens. But so Sherlon,
she still has contact with them, right? I mean,
yeah. So they're together-ish. I don't know. I'm not entirely sure. It's hard to tell what their expectations are for each other, but she is kind of trying to make it work, at least from what they're showing us. I don't know if they're setting us up for a storyline of like, they're trying to make it work as a relationship. And, you know, he's going to come to the US and then it's going to all fall apart because he is absolutely not wanting a relationship, as based on him talking about sleeping with the swingers at the swingers resort he works on also.
Yeah. I mean, and we've seen this before where they like try to make it, they try to make a relationship because they think that's what is needed, you know, and it's unfortunate because I'm like, if she wasn't pregnant, she'd probably never talk to this guy again.
Right.
And that would be just fine.
Right. And what seems like, I don't know. I mean, so she wants him to move to the US and help raise the kid. Right. But he doesn't seem willing to do that. And which, if that's the actual truth, you know, sorry for the kid, I guess, you know, I mean, this is sort of what happened, right? But they weren't really in a relationship either, you know? So, you know, they should probably not force a relationship, but I don't know, like, should he move to the US to help raise the kid, or should she go back and forth, or questions that you shouldn't have to ask yourself after you take a, you know, girls trip to the Caribbean.
No.
But they do. But so, I mean, this this is where we get the boobs and butts, right? So he's talking about how he works at this resort, which is where he met Ariana, but he also works at the swingers resort. And so, of course, they take, you know, B-roll footage of people taking their bathing suits off and, you know, all this stuff. And so, and he talks about breaking the rules of, you're not supposed to, you know, have contact with the client or the resident, or what do they call them? Visitors. Thank you. MS brain.
But okay.
So, and how he's broken that rule many times.
Everyone breaks the rule at working at the resorts.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you remember my hotel stories, like, it's not that you're not allowed to, wink, wink. It's don't fucking caught doing it.
Right.
Do your job, and whatever you do after work or your lunch break or your smoke break,
right,
is up to you.
Right. Right. And I mean, I'm just going to go out on a limb here, and having never been to a swingers resort and not personally be involved in that lifestyle, I'm going to go out on a limb. And what I do know about it, because I have some side contacts and peripheral contact with that lifestyle, that they generally would be more willing to sleep with the help than maybe at a regular resort, because they're there for the purpose of having lots of sex with lots of people and, you know, whatever. You know what I mean?
I mean, it's either that, or the people that work at those resorts are more receptive to the visitors inviting them to the bedroom than regular resorts.
Right.
Because if you're going to a swingers resort, you're already kind of opening up the possibility and expectation that you are going to be having some kind of relationship. and the who it is just happens to be who's readily available. And a lot of the time, the local eye candy is what gets people.
Right. And
right?
I mean,
like I can go to a swingers place out here and get Mary and, Adam from down the street. Very nice couple. But I can't get, this
the
gorgeous, exotic oiled god.
Right. Now, personally, I don't find Sherlon that attractive. Like I think he's more like a butterface for me.
A butterface? Oh
no. He looks good everywhere but her face.
But his face.
But his face.
I don't remember.
Do you know that term though, right?
So, I do. I just don't remember if I looked at his face, which could be what you mean.
Yeah.
Not in that like objectifying way. I just like don't stare at me. What does he look like?
Personally, I didn't find his face. Ariana was talking about how he's like the most gorgeous guy that she's ever seen. And when you're on vacation and all that other stuff, like standards and things change, whatever. Like, it's fine. I am not faulting her at all for wanting to hit a little vacation booty. Not at all. I think his body is probably the more attractive part of him. Although Sarcasm came out this week. Sarcasm did a little digging, as they do, and found some pictures of Sherlon's his schlong.
No, come on.
Yeah.
Why do we keep bringing out the dicks this week?
Leave
them in the inbox.
I don't need that.
Stop it.
We're talking about Mike.
No,
Mike of the Aliens.
No,
I'm not want to talk about it. But Mike of the Aliens and Natalie, a video surfaced in the last couple weeks that has sound and everything, and it's talking about the magic surprise.
No.
If you haven't
I wish
seen
you would
it,
have talked about an abduction more. Like that would have been more fitting. Like, are you ready for your abduction?
Your little alien.
The magic surprise. Okay, keep going. I can't. I'm so damaged by that.
Okay, but hear me out on this. If it was your man sending you a video, I mean, don't you have some allowance for some of that cheesy dirty talk when it's your man? Like if things that he said during those dirty talk times were to come out, other people might not find them as attractive as you do in that moment, right?
If that's what was getting her motor going, then sure. Honestly, sure. But I'm gonna just say that my issue with it is the ethical one.
Oh,
I know. Which is, if that was made for the person we think it was made for, and it's out on the internet, I'm like, and it's out on the internet, it's like someone maliciously released it. And I think that it's just, I don't know.
Right.
It's just something that should have stayed in the phone.
Yeah.
And not people getting excited. I don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't enjoy the memes. I did.
Well, there's a lot of comparison to Colt.
I think that this magician had a little bit more of a magic wand to work with than Colt.
I agree. I didn't.
If I had to be subjective to say anything about it,
right.
But at the same time, it's just like, I don't know. I have me. I'm what do they say? I'm lawful evil.
You're evil, but in a lawful way.
Yes.
You stay within the lines and the boundaries.
I stay within the lines.
Appropriate
but I do
society.
Yeah.
Yes, you do.
I get ethical revenge.
Yes. So we don't know the story of how this, who this was made for, how it got released. At least I don't know the story. Maybe you do. I have chosen not to look into it because really.
I don't have time. Yeah. But we're saying that the Jamaican dude.
Yes. So I don't know that there's a video, but there is apparently at least a picture, which doesn't surprise me. He seems like the type who would have dick pics. You know, he seems very.
Well, I mean, how many has he possibly sent over the course of his career at the swingers resort? So that pic could have came from anywhere.
Right. So if you want to see more information about that, go to Sarcasm. Sarcasm on Instagram.
All right. So, let's take a moment for some real talk. We're in a pandemic now. I think we've been in it for like a year, actually, almost to the day. Mm-hmm. How are you? Like, what's, how are you doing? What's interfering with your happiness?
The biggest thing that I've been dealing with in the pandemic, particularly early on, but still now, is anxiety, which came out of the blue for me because anxiety is not one of my go-to issues. Other ones, yes, but anxiety, no. So I have actually had to take a step back and learn some new coping techniques and mechanisms to help me deal with anxiety.
Right. And I mean, even right now, seeking therapy is a normal thing, right? BetterHelp is a great, because I don't like traditional brick and mortar therapy. It doesn't work for my schedule. Like, I don't want to have to drive to it.
Yeah, no kidding.
I don't feel comfortable in face-to-face. Like, I don't open up in face-to-face situations. So that's what's great about BetterHelp, is because it's not a crisis line. It's a professional counseling service provided online, and it's secure. There's licensed professionals who specialize in a variety of issues, including depression. And what I can relate to the most is stress, especially anxiety, because I'm juggling work. I'm a teacher. I do, homeschooling for my son every day, even the weekends. Mm-hmm. And I'm trying to establish some kind of work-life balance, in a pandemic. It's really hard.
When everybody's working from home and everybody's all up in your space.
Exactly. And, one thing that, for me, security, I feel like anything I share will be confidential.
Well, absolutely. I mean, if they're professional counselors, then you get the same kind of professionalism, but in a much more convenient and even affordable way by doing it through BetterHelp. And we want you to start living a happier life today. As a listener, you'll get 10% off your first month by visiting betterhelp.com/fraudcast. Join over 1 million people who have taken charge of their mental health. Again, that's BetterHelp, HELP.com/fraudcast for 10% off your first month.
More information.
Okay. Next. So, yes, we're entitled, and this week in 90 Day Dick. I don't think I can get that past the censors. I don't think that's a good title for this episode.
Yeah, but probably not.
In 90 Day Magic Surprises? I don't know. Anyway, so then we go to, with this couple, we have Ariana and her mom baby shopping and buying some clothes for the baby, and they FaceTime, and I guess Ariana and mom and sister, I think, are all planning on going down to Jamaica for a couple weeks. What's that word? Whatever. Presumably for the idea that to see if the relationship is worth it. I'm not entirely sure what the premise of it is. It doesn't matter. Don't try to make it fit in a box, TLC. Please.
I think they're trying to see if there is any possible way that they could be a couple enough to raise the kid together. Or if she has to accept that she's just going to be raising it. I don't want to say
on her own.
Yeah,
well, yeah, with her family.
I mean, that's kind of what it is, though. I mean, especially in a different country, it's not like,
right.
Unless you're going to be.
She does Jamaica. Have the support of her family, which is good. For the baby's sake and everything. Seeing as Ariana doesn't seem to be making the best decisions in her life, but
she was on a high. You know what I mean? She was looking good, feeling good,
right? And
got
caught up in the moment.
We push a lot of that stuff to the back burner.
Didn't have any of Stephanie's condoms with her.
Oh my fucking God.
So yeah, and I guess in the previews it shows mom asking Sherlon how many kids he has with other tourists.
Oh, it's a valid question. Okay. Like,
yeah. So,
I mean, or how many, well, he may not know.
Yeah. He may, yeah, that he knows about. Right.
He may not know.
Right.
He may have populated a small community.
How many other islands?
He's probably has like, you know, a whole bus full of children, but doesn't know it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, if this is his behavior, so that's them. And they just, it seems like a hot mess. I'm really looking forward to seeing how, you know, I don't like the fact that there's going to be a kid involved in this hot mess of a story, but that's
TLC though. They have to involve at least one kid.
I guess that's true.
Yeah. They have to meet their quota of fucking with minors.
Oh God. Minors, you can't even put an X in Quran on a contract.
Oh my God, you're triggering me.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Now I have to explain.
Okay, do you want me to, or you want to explain?
I can explain because I don't think it violates anything. So when I was giving permission to TLC to allow my son to be in the Before the 90 Days episode, they wanted my 5-year-old to sign the paper.
The contract that allows it, which is not valid. It's not legal.
Just the release. And I'm like, he's 5. I am still trying to get him to write his name like at all. And you think he can sign a document? They're like, even if it's in crayon, even if it's just a scribble mark. I'm like,
that's not legal.
My mind is blown that they think that a child can sign something.
Yeah, give consent to be on
and
TV.
they were going to accept that as the agreement with a 5-year-old to be on a fucking television show.
Uh-huh.
And then like, I still went through with it. Like that was a very big red flag. That was a very big red flag. And I was like, whatever. And I was just like,
but everybody got to see the cuteness that is Grayson, even if he did have strep throat during that.
He was so sick during the filming. We were so digressing. We were ADD episode right here. But yeah, anyways, these releases that they give out, like they just file them for their own fucking record so that they can feel comfortable when they
that would not hold up in court, by the way.
Put these children on screen, and it's just kind of like, yeah, there was no more of that. I'm done. But it doesn't take much to be on the show is what I'm trying to say. Even if you're a 5-year-old with a crayon, you too can be on your very own TLC television show. It's a very low bar. Anyways.
So next couple on the show. Let's go to Martine. And what is the name of her man?
Oh, darn it. I can't remember.
I'm looking. Steven.
Steven. Okay.
Martine lives in Miami, and she met Steven in Barbados on a booze cruise. That's what they are.
Yes.
I mean, you get on a boat and they just feed you drinks for a couple hours. And so they met on a booze cruise, and I guess they became inseparable. Like, this is the love of her life, whatever. So they've been together for, quote unquote, together for like 3 years. She travels there as often as she can. So of course they're showing the two different sides, right? They're showing her and him, and she's talking about, oh, I want a commitment and I'm hoping to get engaged this time, this next trip, and blah, 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 blah. And he's talking about like cheating on her and never getting a serious, he doesn't ever want to be in a serious relationship again. So his view of the relationship with Martine is quite different than Martine's view.
Well, he's saying that this long distance is perfect because he's still living his life, but he gets a little cake whenever, he wants to.
Which honestly, I mean, props to him. That's
it's a very good fucking deal. It's almost like having,
deal.
It's a really good deal to have long distance sometimes. So
before I got in and met, I was about to say hetero life mate, my now husband. Those kinds of relationships are great. Come into town every now and again. I see you. Bye. Bye-bye. Don't want to deal with the mess of it. So I get it. But the obvious disconnect here is that she doesn't view it that same way. So they show her, and then him. Well, they show her on a boat with her friends. I don't know, friends, sisters, something like that, a group of women. And she's talking about the relationship and how she's getting ready to go back down there again and wants it to be serious and wants, a ring this time. And then she tells them that he cheated on her early on. So we have another situation where, she's checking his phone and sees him talking to all these other people. So reminiscent of Stephanie and Ryan in Police, right?
Yes.
So,
but there's this, the detail of him cheating on her.
Is it cheating?
And her thinking that the duct tape is marriage.
Oh, I know. So, oh God, I'm so glad you brought that up because
no, I was stuck on that. She's like,
because
we have trust issues, and she's like, the only way for me to get over my trust issues is for him to propose to me. I was like, oh, for fuck's sake!
Yes, that was the whole thing. Oh my God, like. Really? No, that's not. I mean, her thought process is like, if he proposes to her and they get engaged, that shows that he's committed to her. Therefore, he won't be cheating. She wants the commitment. She wants to be able to trust him. Get that? Those are things you want in a relationship.
Sure, but yeah, we know
proposing isn't an evidence of that, as we've seen time and time again.
No, because then the next step is. If I want to trust him, we're gonna have to move to the next level and have a baby.
Right,
because that's gonna make everything better.
That's gonna fix everything. I'm so done. No. And Martine, you look good, girl. Like, you seem like you got a good head on your shoulders. I mean, I don't necessarily think anything's wrong with Steven, but I mean, he
Well, is that she and like every every woman should demand a little bit more than the bare minimum.
Yes.
And this is what she's flying there to marry is the bare minimum, because that's kind of all he wants to give from his explanation.
Yes. That's where I was trying to go.
So yes, I'm excited about their story, because I feel like it's not gonna, I don't think it's gonna work. I think it's gonna
absolutely.
They both want different things and different types of relationships. So she's like, I want to get married. I'm going to put the pressure on him. And he's like, I'm so glad that I don't have pressure in this relationship and it's long distance. It's
yes.
Like, yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Who's next on the trash train?
Amber and Danielle. Now, Amber is like the sweet, innocent looking little blonde girl. She's also from Florida. And her fiance is Daniel, who she met in Costa Rica about 3 years ago. Now they are in love, right? She wasn't intending to fall in love because she liked being a free spirit, traveling around, sleeping with whatever she wanted to sleep with. Fantastic lifestyle for her. But then she ended up falling in love with Daniel, and Daniel fell in love with her. Daniel acts like a 12-year-old to me, but whatever. So they are on the relationship train, where their relationship is he has proposed to her already on one of their trips. And so they were going to do the K1, but then COVID and all of this stuff happened. So it kind of got derailed, and she's on her way to go visit him again. And he's not from Costa Rica, as far as I remember. He was just living there. Maybe. I forget if that's who that is. Yeah. So he loses his job. This is the other part. He loses his job because of COVID.
Makes sense. Yeah.
And tourist industry and stuff. And she pays for everything. Right. Which, when you're in a relationship isn't necessarily problematic, right? It's when especially if you're engaged, right? Differing incomes and things like that. But then like they show him like they're on a FaceTime call and he's like, yeah, I need a new phone because mine broke or something. Can you send me a new phone or bring me a new phone? And she's like, why do I have to bring him a new phone? Like, no. And he needs to do this and he needs to do his paperwork and he needs to do this. And so it seems they may be in love, but it seems like there's a mismatch in the way they take responsibility for things. Like she's like on all her side and he has to do a bunch of paperwork and stuff for the K-1 visa and he's not doing it and all of this stuff. So I think that's what their storyline is going to be. So will be interesting because they're like this genuine and love couple and then like trying to make it work in the real world.
Yeah. I see a lot of our other 90-day couples in it. I see, who was the one that was lagging? The spouse that's in another country. I don't have a specific couple, but I see the dynamic of like them not taking it as seriously as it needs to be taken.
Right.
You know, like, what was it? Baby girl Lisa and whatever his name was when he like waited until the 11th hour to get some of the documentation he needed, or
Nicole and Asin.
Yeah, just like half-assed moving through the scenario. It's just kind of like, this is a typical 90-day fiance trope. Is the one party is just kind of like last minute flying by. They're gonna make it, but she's too high strung and he's easygoing, and that's gonna just be her nagging at him constantly and him telling her to relax. But I'm interested
in seeing them together because they do, their storyline has been shown so far as, they genuinely fell in love with each other versus like accidentally got pregnant and trying to make it work, or,
right. They're actually moving their relationship forward because they want to, and it's not an external factor.
Right.
Or internal factor in the pregnancy.
Yeah.
I guess that would be, but yeah, I guess.
But of course,
I kind of see them as like the apple pie couple. Like I'll watch them, but they're not gonna.
They're not as messy.
Yeah.
Although they do show him in a preview saying he hasn't been telling the truth and he has a secret, which is a typical 90-day trope. So I hope they don't overdo the 90-day tropes because I don't want them to ruin what seems like
secret.
He has a secret, and she's going to be pissed when he tells her.
Oh, he's still married.
He seems so too young to be married. Maybe he has a kid.
That's not something that someone would be mad at, though.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah. Well, we have to figure out if it's going to be like a typical 90-day secret where it's like, oh my God, it's such a big secret. And it really is absolutely a big nothing burger. Or if it actually is a legitimate issue. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, we'll see.
We'll see.
Life needs more Cedar Point, more smiles, more surprises, more screams, more days in the sun and nights on the shore, more oohs and ahs and yums, more moments with your family and friends, more memories you get to share again and again. Life needs more Cedar Point, more than ever.
And this year, there's more reason to celebrate than ever at Cedar Point's 150th anniversary through August 15th. Get tickets at cedarpoint.com.
This other couple is Mark and Kay. Key. Her name is spelled Key, but I think they pronounce it K, something like that. She's from Argentina, but they met in Panama. And this is one of these couples. So he's from California. He originally met her in Panama because she had gone there. She's like this total free spirit. They both met in a hostel that like he was running or she was running or something. Anyway, they met there and they, had a, quick vacation fling, but then they stayed in touch and they kind of like fell for each other, whatever. But then then he went back to California because I guess they were each there for more than just like a vacation time frame, right? They were, there for several months. And then he goes back to California. She goes back to Panama. She apparently had a addiction to ketamine. And so she hits her rock bottom. She goes to rehab and has like her life falls apart at that point when she tries to get it back together by going to rehab. She calls him, and he flew there to be with her in her recovery. So she's got this like special place, or he has a special place in her life and her heart because of what he has done for her as far as like supporting her at her lowest, right? So that's like their storyline. Now she reached out to him again out of the blue, and he's going to visit her, and he's like considers her like the one that got away, like she's my true love. We're going to go and see if this works. But then they show her talking about how she doesn't really believe in monogamy and all of this kinds of stuff. And one of the reasons that they didn't really work out before and they fizzled out was their lack of ability to speak each other's language. Although it seems like she speaks a little bit more English now. And I would hope that if this is his true love, he's learned some Spanish, I guess.
You watch 90 Day. You watch these shows, right?
Yeah, they don't. Well, that's what I'm hoping.
They don't learn the language. Ever.
Yeah.
No.
You're so
funny.
Yeah. So that is their story, which is going to be interesting because I don't like her very much. And I like, there's just something about her that she kind of seems a little bit insufferable to me. And he seems like, despite like his like Southern California surfer bro type persona, like I kind of like him, but maybe it's just because she seems kind of insufferable. So I'm like rooting for him. I'm not sure. I'm a little confused about this. She has no desire to move to the United States. He's like, oh, I want to be with her for the rest of my life and bring her to, Huntington Beach, which is like where he's from.
I think she'd be bored with Huntington Beach, honestly, especially if like she seems like a little wild, not in a bad way, but like very free spirit.
Yes.
And I could see that be a reason why she's like, I'm going to go to the United States. It's kind of like,
right.
You got to start buckling up stuff. He could probably benefit from losing those pants, and he's wearing those fucking capri things. And
I don't even remember his pants.
Wear some fucking shorts. I'm so terrible. I'm gonna wear long pants and then roll them up, and then like you have the bottom part of the pants like getting all damp and shit. I'm like, just shorts.
Yeah. Okay.
How are you from the beach? And you don't. Okay. Anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're an interesting couple. Just like their history is interesting to me. Why she reached back out to him, I'm not entirely sure. Maybe that makes me a little bit dislike her, because it's like, if you have no intention of like being in a serious relationship with him, why are you reaching out to him and fucking with his roles that he probably just finally got over you? You know what I mean?
Sometimes you miss them,
But is that fair to him if she has no interest in what he's interested in? And the question remains is the communication between these couples. Well, something we always talk about on 90 Day is the communicating the expectations of the relationship, right? Like they tell the talking heads, the interviews, what their expectations are when they kill each other.
Right.
And they never show that part if it happens at all, which we don't know. So with all of these couples, you have mismatched expectations, and it'll be interesting to see how they play out. And I really don't want them to ruin what seems to be off to a good start.
I feel you there.
So what, like we started this talk, the show, we started talking about how, the relationships don't necessarily fit into we've already gotten the K-1 visa, or we've never met for the first time, like on Before the 90 Days, like these specific tropes that each of these shows, The Other Way, whatever, is designed for. So they like just have it, the Caribbean, which is the locale, right? All of these different places in the Caribbean where these people have all had some level of relationship, and they're trying to see if they're going to make it work. To make, to add to it is a beautiful backdrop for filming, right? Going to all these kicking things with my I'm totally kicking things. My studio is also turned into my craft room when I was making all these crafts for the wedding. So I have stuff everywhere. And anyway, so you get this beautiful backdrop of the Caribbean islands, and you got these people going. So, you know, you can't complain about that. And all of the relationships are different. And hopefully we get to see them because they're not trying to force them to fit into a, like before the 90 days thing when it's not really a before the 90 days, or the other way where we have to pretend like the person is intending to move there. You know, we're not pretending that for any of these people. We're just going to watch the relationships unfold. Right. That is what I think makes this work so far, is it's just focusing on that and not trying to make it fit into these boxes.
I like it because it's not a timer on it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're not like 36 days until 26 days until, you know what I mean? Like this timer, this tick down that they're making it seem like these couples are racing to make it work before the end of their timer goes off.
Or like on Before the 90 Days where they've never met and the expectation of the show is that they have a proposal at the end.
Right.
Like that we don't have those confines.
It just has to happen for the show, or, you know, world
we don't have any of those confines for the show. Right. It's just watching these relationships that happen to be in the Caribbean, you know, various islands in the Caribbean. So
it's just making me want to travel. So thanks, TLC.
So
I keep getting invitation to come to Bermuda, and I'm just like,
Well, that's what we're actually planning. So we didn't get to take a honeymoon because of his work schedule. Like, it's hard for him because what he does, he executive produces a radio show. So he has to get somebody to fill in for him while he's gone. And the options to do that are very slim. So it's hard to get somebody to cover for him. So we couldn't take more than the week off for the wedding. So we're planning like a delayed honeymoon, doing a trip down to the Caribbean somewhere. Don't know what island yet. Maybe I'll figure it out watching the show. I don't know. So yes, makes me want to travel. I'm like, ooh, that looks like a good island. Maybe I'll look at that one. You know,
there you go. You get a little preview here.
Right.
But yeah, I feel really positive about the show. I think it could be something that's different to watch and talk about. And then kind of like when something happens in the 90 day, we have to be almost done with that season, right?
Right. I would think so. I don't know. But the tell-all has got to be coming up soon. And I don't know what their intention is to replace it. They always replace it. We have Darcy and Stacy that premiered, which some of you guys hate, but some of you guys love. I personally enjoy watching it because for the same reason I like this Love in Paradise, is that when they took Darcy and Stacy out of the confines of Before the 90 Days or 90 Day Fiance, where there's these, you know, marriage and all of this other stuff, when we just watch them being them, I find it entertaining. It's taking away those, let's pretend this, I'm going to move here, let's pretend that this is something that it's not. When you take that away, I find them to be very entertaining. But some people don't, you know.
Right.
And that's fine. But I don't know what TLC is planning on replacing Happily Ever After with. Like, is there a season 9 of regular 90 day? Do they have a Before the 90 Days in the can that they're going to put out? Like, we don't know. I'm just hoping that it's new couples again. I'm tired.
I want new couples. Like, even like, I think whenever there's a post about like the new season and we see the same couples, I think there's always a bit of like, okay, we're tired of seeing this dynamic.
Yeah.
Bring in some new people. Like, it doesn't have to be a continuance. Like, Happily Ever After, yes, it is kind of the 90-day people and their next steps, but there's a whole lot of people that have been married that we can watch their Happily Ever After.
Right.
You give us enough fucking backstory in the first episode anyways. Just like do it then. I know you have enough footage to give us something new.
Right.
New.
Right. You know, and we're not the only ones who feel this way about Happily Ever After. Every time I do post about it, I know my comments are filled with people of like, this is why I stopped watching. The most recent one was Angela naked in the bathtub, talking about her clit tortoise. Which was awful. And, you know, Angela being verbally abusive to Michael. But, you know, I see it with the other podcasters. right? Like everyone, like they're still covering Happily Ever After, but then like they're also covering Love in Paradise and Darcy and Stacey and all these other ones that are far more entertaining.
It's entertaining
than Happily Ever After. And so I hope TLC learns from this, that what they did here, this formula, it didn't work. Maybe it's the only thing they had because of COVID. I don't know.
I wish that they would have put this on or thought to put this on the regular channel. Oh, Love in Paradise, you mean? Yeah. I mean, I guess it couldn't be as raunchy if we put it on the TLC and aired it, but I could give up an ass for that. Like, come on. Like,
yeah, we didn't.
It's not like they showed us porn. It was just, you could see the same thing on MTV. But yeah, I think the disservice is more people aren't able to watch this.
Maybe they're using it to try to get people over to Discovery Plus. I don't know, but
I don't know.
It would be better on the regular channel. I agree. This is the most entertaining thing that they've put out. And with Matt Sharp Productions, it ranks up there with Love After Lockup for me, which is not on TLC.
Yeah.
But as far as TLC 90-day stuff, this is by far the most entertaining. So, you know, again, we don't work for we're not trying to like make the money or whatever. So if you can find a way to watch it without having to subscribe, I mean, I'm not going to be mad. But it's really good, and we're actually excited about watching it versus like, got to sit down and watch Happily Ever After so we can talk about it on the podcast. No, like this, it was like, okay, you got to be watching this because this shit's good. So that's why we're talking about it. I'm anxious to see what happens with these couples. These couples are a lot of, they're train wrecks. Are they going to just like all of them completely implode? Are they all going to go up in smoke? Is any of them going to work? Are we going to have split screens of like one person running off and sleeping with, people at the resort and one person going, oh, I think he's going to propose when,
I'm over it.
So we'll see what happens. Let us know, you guys, if you're watching Love in Paradise. Also, let us know what else you guys are watching. Just like, I feel like I need to like get back in, like out of the loop for like 2 weeks. And I feel like everything's changed. I do have to catch up on my Love After Lockup. I know a lot of you guys are watching that. And I'm looking forward to getting you guys more content more regularly instead of, every 2 weeks.
Other shows.
They're
other
arguing
shows.
Again.
Other shows. I think it'd be more entertaining if we could talk about something that we're actually excited about. So
exactly.
I'm excited about this. It's a nice segue out of 90 Day while 90 days kind of being boring and can't recap for the lives of us. Can't recap boring. So
certainly
we will go back to the family Libby RV argument when they finally get out of the RV. And yeah. Sounds good.
Yeah, sounds good. So tune in next week, you guys, and for more Love in Paradise and whatever else happens. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for sticking with us. We are the fraud. What are we? What are the Fraudcast? We're dumpster diving.
She's gone 2 fucking weeks and she forgot how to dumpster dive, so you don't fucking have to. Goodbye.
There's more fun than ever as Cedar Point throws its biggest party ever now through August 15th. Witness the park's 150-year history in a spectacular nighttime parade. Enter every day for your chance to win a ticket of a lifetime. Ride on Snake River Expedition and taste your way around the point. Don't miss this once-in-a-lifetime celebration. Get your tickets at cedarpoint.com. No purchase necessary. Open to legal residents of the 50 United States and the District of Columbia who are 13 years of age or older. Void in Florida, New York, and where prohibited. Visit ticketofalifetime.com. Sponsor Millennium Operations, LLC, doing business as Cedar Point.